Do these three really need to be killed? They could still serve the order well.
Silence. It is not for you to question orders. Dallas found what she was looking for, and she has ordered them built.
A massacre, away from public gaze. Perhaps the dead flesh still gives secrets.
The spirit of a dwarf raises his fists. The spirit of a dwarf raises his fists against an unseen foe. He silently curses at them and throws a punch. The spirit strikes out at thin air near the cell door. The spirit pivots, sensing another assailant. He draws a fist back again, and suddenly freezes, his back arching in silent agony. He sinks to his knees, otherworldly silver blood blossoming from a wound between his shoulder blades. The dwarf smiles, at ease despite his imprisonment.
Need some chatter to pass the time, friend? I wish I knew. Would love to be in the hall.
The spirit of a man cowers on the floor of the cell, his head tucked down. An unseen hand yanks his head up by the hair. His wide, panicked eyes find his tormentor, but before he can, a slash opens across his throat, ghostly, and pitches forward to the ground, twitching.
Dallas found what she was looking
The spirit of an elven woman holds her palms upward. A hesitant, peacemaking gesture, she and suddenly jerks to a halt. One of her hands moves to her stomach. It comes away, coated in a silk. She looks right through you, to her murderer. Her expression drowns and she drops to the floor, soundlessly. The rat scurries nearer to the corpses and bares its fangs at you with a protective hiss.
Do these three really need to be killed? They could still serve the order well.
Silence. It is not for you.
Two white magisters are discussing the fate of three magically bound captives.
You? Ah, yes, I remember your mighty... Shouldn't have come here, you silly little sod.
Indeed. And your presence is most unwelcome. None of your business.
There you have it.
The two magisters whistle up their source hounds and advance upon you.
You lot have outlived your
siege.
Hounds, take them down.
You lot have outlived your usefulness. You lot have outlived your usefulness.
Prepare yourself.
This again.
together. I still am, and here you still are. Adrift and bloody drift, yes? Have you anything to report?
Hello, mister.
The little boy beside her looks at you.
We're waiting for Joe. Hello, mister.
The little boy beside...
We're waiting for Joe.
Well, there you are. Been trying my hand at a few bows. And anything else you want to chat about? Same to you.
Your luck, if you please.
Maestres are out there on the blasted heath hunting sorcerers. So travel safe.
He looks up from his map.
I notice that I've yet to receive your war owl.
His jaw drops.
The Black Ring. A purging device. Silent monks. This is an outrage. I must send a war owl to Arx immediately. My superiors must know of this.
He pulls out a blank sheet of paper, picks up pen, and begins to write. He stops writing, throws you a pouch.
You may count it, but it's all there, I promise you that. You've earned every penny, and I thank you for it.
He turns back to his letter. Vilnix Creever. Almost sounds like a lizard name. But here...
Too heavy.
The statue gestures towards the heavens, a striking image amidst the grey.
This part is gated off from the rest. Whoever's buried here must have been important.
Here rests the lizard hero Vidia. She served Lucian the Divine with great dignity and vanquished the strange beasts that arose from the primordial caverns of Reaper's Coast. Here rests the dwarven hero Bromley. She served Lucian the Divine with honor and cast out the demons that plagued the great woodlands. The implements of her heroism shall rest at the site of her victory. Here rests the elven hero Halla. He served Lucian the Divine with great vigor and defended the farmers who feed Reaper's Coast against pitiless bandits. Here rests the human hero Garrick. He served Lucian the Divine with immense skill and slew the necromancers who preyed upon the dead of Stone Garden Cemetery. The implements of his heroism shall rest at the site of his victory. Suddenly, the earth churns and buckles upwards in several places. Some things are trying to rise to the surface.
Godwoken! You must fall! The God King demands it!
You must fall, so that we may rise!
Let your blood quench our roots, so we may grow.
The covenant shall be fulfilled.
Peace steel, Godwoken!
Mine.
sense something nearby.
What happened to them? And what's this covenant?
The heroes of Driftwood lie at your feet, dead for good this time.
Most foreboding. When did heroes turn villains? And what is this covenant?
This covenant of theirs didn't do them much good. Onwards.
They were corrupted somehow. If it could happen to them, it could happen to us. We should be cautious. Speak.
She smirks quite joylessly.
You heard the way he spoke to me, didn't you? I don't think I'll lose any sleep over his violent demise. Roost. He was wickedness come to life. In his mind, we were nothing but things that squeal delightfully when tortured and ravished.
She looks at you intently, with searching, questioning eyes.
Does such a creature deserve anything less than death? Indeed. The name's on my left arm. Several I killed with pleasure. You saw what I did with Stingtail. You saw it made me feel good. You read the ecstasy in my eyes when I made Roost scream. I ask again, does a creature like me deserve anything less than death? I know you didn't. You only inadvertently did. Don't worry, I don't hold it against you. Besides, you weren't wrong.
She holds up her needle and eyes it with the same searching, questioning look she gave you.
Beyond the blood hides nothing but a desire to be happy. I can only hope that is not too terrible a crime. Ah, yes. I am the Prime Scion. A revelation that came quite out of the blue, which is somewhat ironic, considering I'm supposed to be my people's foremost memory keeper. Quite slipped my mind, though. A slave scar will do that to a girl. Yes, a great many things. Days long gone.
She looks down, an uncharacteristic cast of melancholy passing over her face.
Gods, I was so young. Imagine it. To sit enthroned under a vast forest canopy. To look down upon a crowd of thousands, their bodies aglow with countless rays of golden light falling through the leaves. You hear their voices as one. One mind, one thought, and it's your name they incant, as if the word itself were magic. Sabil. They said it like I was the cornerstone of their existence. Isn't that silly? I didn't even know myself. It's a very lonely thing indeed to be the object of a people's worship. What is revered is feared at the same time.
She absent-mindedly fingers her needle, hesitates.
I used to love poetry. I used to love wandering the forests for days on end. I'd swim in the rivers and forget to dress after. It was fine. I'd bask in the sun, sleep nestled among bear cubs. Nothing out there would harm me. But always, they would find me, the scions. Always the mother tree would call me back, for one day I'd be free no longer. One day my legs would be roots. To wander would be but one lone memory among millions. Clearly not. Though I must admit that even to sit on that throne amid that eerie crowd, destined to become leaf and bark, was not so dreadful a prospect as what came next. When I decided to run away from the mother tree with only the moon for my guide, it was a terrible journey. Soft-leafed branches became vicious like whips. Moss-bedecked rocks became sharp like the stone axes of old. I grew weary. I was bleeding, in pain, and how I gasped when for the first time an animal eyed me with malice and growled. That is when I heard them. The whispers and the taunts, the low howls of men. The snare cut so deep. The blindfold, it made me panic. The dark.
Somewhat to your surprise, Sabil doesn't recoil, but allows you to hug her.
Thank you. That very first moment of darkness. I've never been so scared ever since. Then there was the stench of those men. The burn of the ropes. The jeers and the kicks. Until the dark went silent. Even those barbarians didn't dare speak in the presence of the Master. But I'll not speak of him and his methods. Not now, anyway. If ever. Ha! A tale of cloaks and daggers and daredevilry. You are wonderful.
She bows, with thespian flair.
Imagine a black room. It's been your room for years. You know it by touch more than sight, for it's always dark. And when I say always dark, I mean always dark. You're either in the room or in the box, for it's in the box that you travel. You're only let out at night, because you only hunt in the night, with the Master's voice in your ears urging you on. And after it's done, you lie down in the box once more, with wet hands and mad red thoughts. Sometimes it's best to let sleeping questions lie. The thing is, the box didn't break me, though I confess it taught me to hate. One night, I killed a scholar. With my needle through his fragile old skull, he fell headfirst upon his writing desk. It's when I saw the ink that timid thoughts of rebellion first bloomed. Back in my dark room, I dipped my needle that killed the scholar in his own ink, and engraved his name in my skin. I'd remember him. I'd honor him with vengeance. His name was the first, but many more followed. Of course.
She bares her left arm and shows you the name. You softly run your finger across it.
Nindaran. He was Turashar, a keeper of stories. I'm sure he was loved by many. People like him, the beloved dead, they kept me going. Then, one day, it happened. A gush of wind, a sliver of light. Light! I hardly knew it for what it was. A simple oversight that comes with habit. A door, left slightly ajar. That was all I needed to feel a rush of blood, a thirst for liberation like never before. I tore at the shackles that kept me chained to the floor, iron thick as a smith's wrists. Of course they wouldn't budge, they never did before. But now that I saw the light, something welled up inside me, a raw and undeniable burst of power. The shackles broke, and next thing I knew, I was free. I stood alone outside the ruins of a fortress, snow-capped peaks all around me. But the sun, oh, the sun. I had risen as if from the grave, and she kissed me back to life. Ain't over yet, honey. I was given my needle by the master. Guess I'm just sentimental like that. Fine, if it means that much to you.
She draws her needle and holds it up between thumb and index finger.
Go on. Ever so gently touch the tip.
Barely have you touched the needle's pinpoint surface when a thick droplet of blood wells up from your fingertip.
Sharp little minx, isn't she? Sabine, this needle was forged in an altogether different world. It wasn't wrought upon a crude anvil hammered into shape with rough blows. No, it was cast with demon precision. It is absolutely priceless, and it's yours. The master's own words. And he was right. As an instrument of assassination, it's absolutely priceless. But one day soon, he'll find out just how much he overspent on his gifts for little old me. Just why this needle is a girl's best friend. One might say I'm a bit of a sucker for poetic justice. We are strong enough now, strong as we deserve to be. Now we should find out what to do with all of our strength.
Pray speak. Gods know, though they are a nuisance. Believe me, a prince of the House of War survives his first attempts at assassination in the crib. His mother is not so much his keeper as his bodyguard. Though I must admit these fellows are rather tenacious. Do you tire of their attempts? Precisely. And it's precisely this sort of understanding that makes me appreciate our journey together. Quite a novel thing for me, this together concept. How about yourself? How lucky you are, then, to be graced by my exalted companionship. I'm in rather good spirits after that invigorating fight, so I think I'll return the compliment. It's good to have you around.
He looks at you sternly, for all the world like a schoolmaster lecturing an errant brat.
I think you can quite easily imagine what went on in that wagon. Almost a pity you weren't a witness, actually. For you would have seen the conception of a new world. Not to mention an unparalleled lesson in lovemaking.
His eyes attest to a desperation you've never seen him acknowledge in any way whatsoever before. He seems restless, angry, on the cusp of a tempest you never expected could ruffle his unshakable demeanor.
Finally, I found her. Finally, I found her, only to lose her again. It's unthinkable, unbearable. To know she's in the hands of such villains. Aye. She's gone, damn you! Don't you understand? Just let me.
He closes his eyes and begins to chant an old mantra. His voice mesmerizes, and as he calms, you too feel serenity descend upon the scene.
There. Much better. I apologize for my irritability just now. What you don't realize is... Tell me, have you ever been in love? Too many, unfortunately. Suffice to say, I am in love. In such a way that is the very core of my entire existence. My empire and my throne, I must have them back, there's no question about it. My offspring of dragons, I will see them born. Divinity itself, by all means, I crave it. But above all, above any of them, I cherish her. I would hope we are all more than we seem at first glance. You must know she is my deepest desire, that I've longed for since my soul slipped into consciousness. To see her taken away from me now, after our first meeting, it rends the heart. Words that mend. I thank you for them. I will scour this world in search of Sadha. And if by mortal means she eludes me, I will take divinity for the purpose. Ah, yes, the dream visions. I've been bombarded with a lot of grandiloquent prophecies that an analytical mind like mine is obliged to meet with a certain degree of skepticism, were it not for the princess. Like all lizards, I give great credence to dreams. For I know them to flow not from the sleep-hazed sometimes, in that vast phantasmagorical chaos, two storm-tossed kernels meet and become. Sadha is the secret of my soul. I have no doubt whatsoever we are meant for one another. Meant for dragons. Ontologically speaking, where the return of the great red dragons is as yet but a possibility in the realm of Rivellon, it is already fact in the disarray of dreams. As if that ever was in doubt. Now, I don't blame you for being skeptical. It shows a penchant for logic. But logic, dreams, and prophecy make for an ill-tasting cocktail indeed. Bear with me, though. I'll make it taste sweet just yet. I can't say I've ever given them much thought. They're no more than an elven curiosity as far as I'm concerned, obsessed with the idea of becoming sentient bark. Wonderful material once chopped, though, I'll give you that. Just look at the Lady Vengeance.
He sighs, rather dramatically.
Oh, perhaps that's because I don't quite enjoy broaching the subject. Thank you. But I suppose you've earned the right to know. The long and short of it is that I was banished because I was found in bed with a demon. Because I invited her in, of course. How else? You clearly have a hard time understanding all this, so let me paint you a picture. I am a prince of the House of War. There are others with that title, but none of them are the Red Prince, the jewel in the crown of the Empire. I lived in the Forbidden City, a vast complex of palaces that houses the royal family and its servants. No others are allowed to enter it. As for myself, I was never allowed out. That is the price I paid for my genius. I was too valuable to be exposed to the dangers of the outside world. All the wars I won, and I won them all, of course. Bring me information, and I will deduct, then instruct. From amid the ultimate opulence of my quarters, I expanded and very much ruled the Empire. I had it all. And frankly, I got bored. Exactly. I did not suffer the boredom of some spoiled brat. Mine was the absolute absence of challenge, the longing not simply to watch the horizon, but to journey towards it. If I could not experience the joys of the world beyond, I had to bring the world to me. Miraculous what a sorcerer can do with a little arcane lore. I summoned demons, the most dangerous game in the world. But they knew they met their match in me, and so we conversed. We converse with demons, and you learn of the shadows behind creation. Drink wine with them, and you have visions of worlds beyond worlds. Play chess, and you know that one wrong move is certain death. My mind rejoiced. Now for the body, I reasoned, so with a certain succubus I spent nights that would surpass your understanding. So you do comprehend. I spent a whole year in the company of demons, every night atop the white library tower of my palace. It was my great study of existence. It was my supreme joy, even if... Yes, even if it led to my downfall. What happened next was simply unforeseen. One moonless night, the succubus that was my lover turned to me, fangs exposed. But I could tell from the glint in her eyes she wasn't bent on our usual fang. There was no light in that glint. It was the darkness of the void, the wet darkness of spilt blood. And in short, I was afraid. I tried to move away, but it was too late. She was upon me. She had done it. She had outmaneuvered the Red Prince. Finally, I was vanquished. She went for my neck, quick as a charging cobra, but then suddenly it's as if time ground to a halt. Something deep inside me welled up, a power I never knew I had. She simply froze under my... Then she screamed. A scream so abhorrent its ripples caused birds to fall dead from the sky. The Imperial Guard forced itself into my chambers and found me with the succubus still on top of me.
I believe the phrase is caught red-handed.
At first, I admit it was all rather tiring. I was, after all, marched out of my own empire, and I've been hounded by the odd assassin ever since. After that came the indignity of the collar and incarceration. But ever since we decided to be so bold as to bid our farewell to Fort Joy by any means, it's all been rather fun.
Oh, I could complain about the food and the lodgings and the sheer barbarity of the common folk. But in truth, all of that fits within the larger frame that is adventure.
Adventure is precisely what my life was missing. I told you earlier I could tell you tales about what it was like to be a prince of the house. Tales that would last us 1,000 nights. That is true. But I'd much rather speak of the tale we are shaping now. Yes, as long as that road eventually leads all the way back to my throne, that is. We are strong enough now, strong as we deserve to be. Time to find out how to make these powers shine.
Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find myself in some place even more dismal than the last. Still, at least this is an interesting variation on dismal. How many times must I tell you? I have business in the Black Pits. We should head to the excavation site there.